A heart of any true leader should always resonate with a cry of his people. Coming up, Floyd Shivambu has come out to clarify and refute critics who claim that there is a serious leadership crisis within Afrika Mayibuye. We will remember that a month ago, these critics started to emerge when he fired his own deputy president, Nolubabalo Mcinga.
How did that happen? Tell us a bit about those meetings, the purpose, what happened there?
No, the president of Afrika Mayibuye is very controlling. I'm very disappointed in his leadership. I really had high regard. His leadership skills are around gossip, and I think he's a coward. He can't face women.
And of course, lately, Floyd Shivambu suffered yet another blow where he lost his 2 deputy secretary general concurrently and with immediate effect. And here are their letters. Let's look at Luther Libero's letter. This is what he wrote. Dear Comrade Mahlaba, I trust this letter finds you well. After careful reflection and thorough consideration, I hereby tender my resignation from the Afrika Mayibuye Movement, both as a Deputy Secretary General and as a member of the organization with immediate effect. Wow. I extend my sincere appreciation for the opportunity to serve, and I wish the organization continued success in all its future endeavors. Kind regards, Luther Libelo. And Kabisile Cynthia Shongwe's resignation letter reads thus. I, Kabisile Cynthia Shongwe, writing to formally resign as a Deputy Secretary General of Afrika Mayibuye Movement. I have appreciated being part of the movement, and I would like to wish the organization a proper journey. Be committed to programs that are going to change life of the people on the ground and be transparent. My resignation is effective immediately. Clearly, there is a serious problem here. And of course, Floyd Shivambu refutes those claims that there is crisis within Afrika Mayibuye, and claiming that these 2 people or these leaders were firstly recalled from their duties by the leadership because of their incompetence, and at the midnight they resigned on social media, creating the impression that there is crisis or leadership crisis within the movement. And it wasn't too long, Floyd released a media statement refuting all those claims, and his media statement reads thus. The national officials of Afrika Mayibuye Movement convened a 2-day meeting on the 28th and the 29th of November 2025. In the day's deliberations, the national official confronted the challenges of the time with unflinching determination in what the national officials describe as a separation of wheat from chaff. The national officials resolved to reconfigure the composition of the national officials. This reconfiguration signifies no mere administrative adjustment. It avows the movement unbreakable solidarity. It affirms readiness to escalate the struggle for total freedom and emancipation now. Land restitutions and social justice now. Now, of course, then he enlists now these reconfigurations. In other words, new leaders that have been nominated to come and fill up in those positions, and of course strengthening the national officials. Well, the list is way too long, guys, but as you can see it on the screen, and I'm not going to go through it because in the video I'm going to put now, Floyd is going to be mentioning those people anyway. And of course, in a pre-national convention presser held in Soweto, Floyd said this, putting the record straight.
We convene this press conference here in Soweto, in Johannesburg, which is the cradle of resistance and a symbol of the unyielding spirit of our people in the pursuit of freedom and dignity. We gather here to announce significant developments in our organizational journey and to reaffirm our commitment to the total emancipation of the African people. At the outset, we acknowledge the entire leadership of Afrika Mayibuye Movement as reconfigured and publicly announced in our previous media statement. This leadership structure represents a fortified cadre of dedicated revolutionaries who embodied the aspirations of the masses and stand ready to lead the charge against all forms of oppression and exploitation. We reaffirm the following national leadership structure, composed of comrades whose proven dedication and strategic acumen will guide our movement through the challenges and programs ahead. In terms of the reconfigured structure, we'll read the entire component which was reconfigured. That the first deputy president is Tato Amahohodi, that the second deputy president is Nomusa Sibisi Kamashobani. The third deputy president is Pepile Cyprian Mahlaba, who is also the chairperson of KwaZulu-Natal province. The secretary general is Lazolan Damase. The first deputy secretary general is Mzwandile Goge. The second deputy secretary general is Nosipo Makamba. The national chairperson is Mabato Mukause. The deputy national chairperson is Sipiwe Mkatwa. The national organizer is Patrick Sindani. The deputy national organizer is Lindy Spires. The treasurer general is Tsepo Mahanuke. The fundraiser general is Menzima Gubani. And our chaplain general remains Archbishop Stephen Bafana Zondo. This leadership collective is formed and part of the leadership collective of heads of departments and heads of offices, but also of the presidents of the Afrika Mayibuye Women, Youth and Students formations. That the leadership collective draws from diverse experiences and regions, ensuring that our movement remains rooted in the realities of the people while advancing a unified vision for radical transformation.
Are we all good? Thank you very much. Members of the media, there's an imaginary leadership turmoil which has been peddled, that there's leadership turmoil within Afrika Mayibuye, and that's not true. The meeting of the 28th of November, which took place here in Johannesburg, which was attended by all officials of Afrika Mayibuye, including the officials who resigned midnight of the 28th, took a decision in the presence of those officials that because you have not been performing, and there were a number of attempts to get everyone to perform within their duties and responsibilities, we are taking a decision in your presence that we are recalling you from your leadership, and we are reconfiguring the national officials of Afrika Mayibuye. They agreed, but opportunistically, midnight, they resigned to themselves and to social media. So they knew that they were recalled. So there is no leadership turmoil within the Afrika Mayibuye movement. We are fine, we have reconfigured the way we feel that our leadership will take us forward until the upcoming elections and beyond.
I think the national chair has dealt with the imaginary instability or crisis within the Afrika Mayibuye movement. So we are a people's organization, and because we are a people's organization, when you constitute leadership, you somehow or somewhat you become a microcosm or reflection of society as a whole. But the resolve that we had from the beginning was that we do not tiptoe around wrongdoing and incompetence in Afrika Mayibuye movement. So we confront incompetence directly, and we do not gossip about it. So if leaders, even if they were there from day zero, if they do not do the work of the organization, we tell them, even alongside those that have joined in terms of review, that you are not doing what is expected of you. So the resignations, as the national chair has said, that you have seen of the officials is because of incompetent people who were unable to do organizational work, and we did a scientific measure and assessment of their contribution. It was not adding value to the organization. And the discussion was that we're going to a national convention. Do we go to the membership and say that these are leaders when we know that they are not capable of fulfilling the tasks that is expected of them? And as the chair said, they then opportunistically resigned to create a public perception that the organization is in a crisis, people are jumping off. We're removing them in terms of the decision. And in relation to the Deputy President, Robert Mwendo, who is also the president of Mawusa, he has said publicly that he was overwhelmed by the tasks of being a Deputy President of a founding organization and being a president of a union which has to pay full-time attention on the sector that he organizes in. Of course, he will give different reasons every day, but we accept that reason. And we could see that he was indeed overwhelmed in fulfilling the tasks that he had to fulfill as Deputy President of Afrika Mayibuye Movement. So I think that issue has been clarified. So there is no crisis, none whatsoever, in terms of the organization that we're building. But also, you must take to consideration that, you know, all the political organizations that exist in South Africa, at formative stages, will always undergo those dynamic leadership changes. You know, the South African Natives National Congress, which was renamed the African National Congress in 1923, it had a lot of difficulties between 1912 and 1923.
There is a saying that says, where there is smoke, there is fire. And what concerns me also is that all those leaders who are leaving Floyd, they have one thing and one thing only to say. The majority of them are complaining about Floyd's arrogance. So could it be that Floyd is really arrogant? Or they are just throwing it out there just to contaminate the whole Afrika Mayibuye movement? What do you think? Let me hear your comment below. And of course, if you are coming for the first time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.